This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trade Net, and this is your live market chat for Tuesday, March 28th, 2023. Can I get a mic check? I would appreciate it. And grab a coffee, get comfortable. I think people need to zoom out, be thoughtful of what's going on, be aware end of the month, do their educational work, be prepared. I think we're about to hit the slopes, down, bumpy ride. It's going to be interesting. Either way, hopefully people are prepared. If you are short, hopefully you have defined your risk. You have your entries hopefully layered in, not all in all the time, because you're probably early like me in a lot of positions. And if you are long, you've sold your covered calls, you've managed your positions, and have been honest with yourself. The upside is probably limited if you're zooming out. Now, the folks who are tunnel vision, hourly 10-minute chart folks who just 5-minute, 1-minute, whatever, gonna be a problem. So if I can get one comment just to confirm the mic is good, we will go. We will continue on. Hopefully you're having a good week. Interesting market action this morning. Not surprised. A little all over the place. VIX kind of chopping out. Mic is good. Awesome. So again, this is gonna be more of an open conversation. Ready just to help anybody out if they have questions, but also just kind of dial into what the hell is going on. Because I think a lot of people have in their mind at the highs, when everything is certain that it can only go higher in a bear market, you got to be careful. And at the lows, when everybody's bearish and everyone's freaking out, you got to be cognizant you're probably due for a bounce. At this point, based on the market action, based on, again, seeing Congress is going to be struggling with this next debt ceiling omnibus, kick the can down the road. You got banks struggling. You've got the feds just losing all their credibility, but they can't also lower rates. I mean, that's the problem here, right? If they want inflation to entrench in, lowering rates is what they do. If you want to kill inflation, you're going to probably have to hurt the market. And there's no easy way around this. You put liquidity into the system with endless stimulus, COVID checks, easy money, low interest rates. Well, you reap what you sow. Well, you thought there would be no inflation. Well, you're stupid. You can't print money endlessly and not expect ramifications. Well, what's the best way to end this, right? Let free market capitalism do what it should do. And again, and I know people are like, well, free market, hold on. Yeah, no, of course not. There really isn't a free market at this point. It's all become socialized. Losses get socialized. The gains, not so much. But the point being is ultimately that the feds have this, pickle of a situation. I mean, what's more dangerous to me? High and sustained inflation. Because that's where you get riots in the street. That's where you get people freaking out. That's where you see mass chaos. Now, I know people don't like to see the economy crash or unemployment rise or things of that nature, but you're really damned if you do, damned if you don't. And that's the conversation that we've been talking about over time, and it's just, again, a bear market. We talked about it. It's a bear market. If anyone is telling you it's not, and this is the time to go all in, stay long, never sell, well, then they haven't peeped the past. I keep showing the monthly VIX over and over and over. And here's 2008. Here's COVID crisis. Here are other here's 2000s. Here are other market, which I would consider gyrations, bear markets, or massive corrections. We haven't even gotten anywhere close to a 47, 48 level, 50, whatever you want to call it, round up. So to say the bear market is over, that, again, that's not putting the odds in your favor. Now, could we be wrong? Absolutely. Wrong happens. But probabilities say we're not. It says bear market until it's not. How long does it have to chop out? Bear market. I don't know. That is the million-dollar question. So, traders market, as we call it, trade around your positions. At this point, any other questions, any specific stocks? Because if not, I can just roll through what I'm watching. If you're new to the channel, you want to join the Discord room, please do. Easy access, no doubt. There's a lot of information, obviously, always to share. Hold on one second. And yeah, the link is in the description below. If you want to join, please feel free. If you're listening and you're on the Discord room, please type your questions in here. I will be able to see them. Hopefully keep an eye on such if you have any important questions related to what we're up to or what we're watching. And if you're not, following on Twitter, please, for the love of God. I don't know what you believe in, but whatever. Just making a joke here. Ultimately, posting updates, posting what we're up to, posting what we're thinking, trying to keep people informed. Now I know sometimes there's not a ton to talk about. Well, guess what? I'm not going to bombard the market and just try to predict every intraday move. As we talked about, if you like trading for cookies with high aggressiveness, this is not probably the channel for you. Again, we're swing traders with tendencies to what the market's going to be doing next, not living in the past, trying to predict, anticipate with high probabilities what the market's going to do next. The back to beginner stage. I mean, how many people watch this video? I'm going to drop the link to the description or to the chat, so if people want to check this out, please, this video, if you're not watching the videos, again, there's seasonality, there's market tendencies, there's repeating patterns within the market. Most people are not paying attention to this stuff, and hence they get blindsided when they don't see it. So if you're newer and you're like, well, you got the back to basics, but do you have it organized? Well, I do. Here it is through the website. This website will give you from beginner to higher education levels. I'm going to be working on more of this over time just to make it more streamlined for folks, because I think a lot of folks in general need a little help, which we all need a little help. I could use a little help. Go from there. If you need help, this is a good place to start. Please don't just ask questions, ask questions. I'll drop this link in the chat as well. If you do not have the Fed Fund futures charts of what interest rates are going to be doing going forward, what's anticipated by the market. Now, again, this updates daily. Let's hit the refresh button. The market is anticipating 50-50 whether you have a rate hike in May or not. Basically 50-50. Pause or a quarter up. Keep an eye on this website. Save it. CME Group. This is the Fed Fund futures. If something's over 63%, the Feds have always followed through. When I'm saying if this was 63%, there would be a rate hike. The Feds are not in the market, or not into creating discord. No, they're not into creating uncertainty and getting people confused by doing things that are not predictable within the interest rate structure. Because, again, if they start raising rates and surprising people, they're creating their own damage, right? Just like if they cut out of nowhere, people are going to freak the F out. They try to telegraph their moves. Even though we don't trust them, ultimately, they're a sham of a institution because they're non-elected bankers, rich fat cats. We know that. But, again, they know they have certain rules to the game. It's like the Matrix in the sense of like there's rule to the game. Even though they're rigging the game, there are rules to their rigging, essentially. And that's one of the things they're not going to try to do, is try to do things out of what I would guess. Maybe most people didn't see rate hikes coming last week, but if you looked at the Fed Fund futures, you definitely saw it. So anyway, I hope this helps. Let's get started. I'll just jump through things. Anyone have any questions before I get started? Because I think, this is open mic, trying to keep this free and liberating for folks who are following, who need help. Someone asked about Bitcoin, GBT up, which is the first time it is outperforming over a year. Anyone hear any news about? The only thing I'm hearing about Bitcoin is that people are talking about fat cats selling. I don't know. I mean, I've seen where the large account holders are selling more than the retail buyers. But again, it's news, noise. Do I trust it? Hell no. I would just watch this upper range if you're talking about Bitcoin. Because if it breaks 26,000s, like mid, well, then it's probably coming back down in the 25s. Keep it technical. Keep it simple. People like to say, oh, certain things aren't technical. It's like everything has a technical aspect. Is it certain? No. But technicals help you garner the path for the next move, right? If it breaks below 26,000, very clear as day, well, then that's support. Everybody who bought up here is trapped and is going to potentially liquidate, right? And if they're liquidating, what happens? The stock goes lower. Yeah, that's simple. Sorry to sound like a goofball, but that's just me being me. Semiconductor, good question. Does it look like it's about to break? Oh. Again, 20-day, here it is, held. Watch what, we hit the 0.618. Again, I got to give Xavier SM, because I think back around here, I was like, man, I don't think we're going to get up to the 0.618. We didn't. But guess what? Time proved me to be wrong. We did get up there. Now we're holding the 20-day. Not surprised. You go from 264 down to 246 or whatever it was. Could it bounce? Maybe. Saw Japan talked about government digital currency in a tweet, not confirmed. Yeah, this is the thing. I've always struggled with all of this stuff related to crypto is that the governments are going to want to do their own. I just don't know what they're going to allow and what they're not going to allow. Now, who wins the battle, right? It's like a battle of who wins the crypto. You would think it'd be Bitcoin would survive, but it doesn't necessarily mean there's not going to be injured soldiers along the way. People are going to get smashed. So that's the nature of the game. Semi's starting to crack. Greetings. What's up, Thomas? Dan, have you heard of anything about grayscale Bitcoin flat to down this trading session yet? Bitcoin. Again, those grayscale ETFs, they don't follow Bitcoin completely. Now, I can't remember the specifics on why. I think it has a lot to do with how the fund is set up. Again, you got to know your ETFs. Like Bitcoin, let me look at this real quick, because what is it? GBTC, right? GBTC. Yeah. It's tough, right? Like it follows pretty well, but remember, it trades at a premium. Right? This is the thing about this thing. It's like the monthly. It's like, ooh, right? Bitcoin is not that far off the highs. Or sorry, it's not. I mean, it's not 15,000. It's like 26,000. So if this was like more of a better, ETF that followed it better, it would probably be in the mid 20s, right? Mid to low 20s. Again, this thing has probably some future exposure, which expires. Futures expire. Probably has, again, I haven't dug too deep again, because I personally would rather just own Bitcoin. If I was going to own Bitcoin, I've always said I think the best way, if you're going to short Bitcoin, short it with the ETFs. Longing it seems like there's never, and again, someone maybe correct me if I'm wrong here, I haven't found a good ETF that mimics the price as well as what you would think it would do and want it to do. So on that note, I apologize if that's not the answer you want, but that's just the reality of it. Okay, cool. I got people trolling me talking about buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. All right, usually, at the highs, this is what I'm always looking for, and at the lows, remember, the newest / dumbest / naive traders, again, because we're all dumb when we start trading, right? Believe higher prices at highs and lower prices at lows. Remember that. That's what the market's real good at getting people to do. So, all right, Dan, have you heard anything? Yeah, again. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the grayscale stuff, but I mean, I imagine it has probably something to do with the structure of the ETF. If I Googled it, I imagine it's there. That would be my resource. Let me see if I see anything on briefing.com. Give me 3 seconds to pull that up, because sometimes they're relaying information. Only thing I'm seeing is that looks like preparing to use settle. No, all I'm seeing is a lot of people talking about that Alibaba stuff this morning. Again, I mean, they're going to break their company into different reporting segments. Sounds like they're eventually going to, what do you call it when you dissolve, you reverse a company and you sell it. What do you call that? All of a sudden my brain is just doing too many things at once. Y'all know what I'm talking about. When they take a company and they reverse it. Biddy is for the BTC short. Yeah, I mean, I feel like you can trade Biddy. It's just, again, decay. You got to be careful. I mean, it's not really that great of a 20 to 22 Bitcoin. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, Bitcoin. Yeah, GBT has been trading at a premium for a long time, but now trading at 50. Oh, it is at a 50% discount. This is the first time it's traded above the underlying asset. Okay. Well, I'm glad again, I'll read that out. GBT has been trading at a premium for a long time, but now trading at 50% discount. This has to be the first time it's traded above the underlying asset in over a year. Potentially, yeah, I can't remember. Again, I don't trade that ETF, but I remember one's at a huge premium. Makes sense now that it's a huge discount. We'll see. So, which the market would one way or the other move? This is the thing about the market, Tim. If you're newer to the trading, maybe you're not, but you have to be honest with yourself. The market doesn't always go where you want it to go now. That's where I was trying to always explain to people, like, your entries and your ability to sit on your hands or take the time variable out. That's why people who buy options, you got to be right away, or you got to give yourself time. And, if you want to be a very quick trader, good luck. You're going to have more losses than wins. If you're going to be a patient trader, hopefully you buy in the money, you buy yourself time, and you essentially turn options into deep in the money stock, essentially. That's the safest way. Now, nothing's guaranteed, right? So that's what's hard about trading, ultimately, is that time. Market goes up a third of the time, goes down a third of the time, and chops a third of the time. Well, I mean, I've tried to warn folks here. I mean, if the people who are getting bullish cues, I'm like, what planet have you guys been on? I mean, it's just in a big chop cycle since what? It's kind of ironic. The end of March 2022 started Zapow. Well, here we go. M top hitting the upside target zone. I mean, I guess you could, let's just duplicate. I guess this is old. Take this out of here. Come on. Give it to me. Here's your new upside target zone, which, again, sorry I wasn't right there noted. But this is what happens. And that's why we talk about trading around positions off the highs, because you don't know if you get retest. More times than not, you get retest, but it's not guaranteed, right? The V moves are typically what? Now, again, in the bear market, it made sense. Now we're getting into the choppy, sloppy part of the next part of, of the bear market. The V move needs to be a stronger high for it to be a V. In my opinion, this action here felt very blow-off topish. Again, if you traded around it, great. If you're reloading, awesome sauce, which we talked about. Now what? Patience. Patience. Again, the Qs have put in what looks like a top, but here's what I've been telling folks. Watch the IWM because it's lagging. Notice the IWM way down here, Qs up here. Watch for lagging. I mean, it's literally right there every day. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that the tech had to smash yesterday or the day before with certainty. That's what we're trying to explain to people. This is why it can be very difficult, right? And that's where I told people last week I went huge on margin levered ETFs for shorting the markets. I'm like, I think we're that close, and I can now define my risk even on margin. It's like, all right, well, you're willing to take a loss, yep, but you got to at least be cognizant that, all right, you had a retest, People kind of got really frustrated. I'm like, look at the Qs. Why would I not go short up here? Why would you not? With a tight stop. I mean, literally, you can tighten the stop as tight as possible with references. Now, again, if you put it extremely tight, you probably got stopped out. But if you gave yourself just a little room, pretty good. All right, MU earnings may affect SMH. Want to enter puts, but window dressing will make it tough. What do you suggest waiting till the window? Okay, well, first of all, I don't buy puts into earnings unless I buy one like a lottery and I just lotto call, lotto put, and I assume it's going to blow up. I already write it off as a loss. Buying puts and calls into earnings because, again, you can know the numbers, you can know the results, you don't know the reaction. That's why I've warned people for decades. Again, because I started trading during the dot-com bubble and saw people who just literally would just throw options at any earnings and go, oh, it's going higher. Oh, it's going lower. And saw people just lose their ass, essentially. And it's the same thing now. I mean, people don't do it as aggressively, but the market is really good at pricing in the action of the options and making them extremely volatile or extremely overpriced. The IBs increase, right? The implied volatilities increase going into earnings because people start now hedging, getting scared, getting excited. So my suggestion is wait. Wait, the second mouse gets the cheese. The first one gets the trap more than likely. Now, again, can the first mouse get the cheese? Yeah. But it's a little harder. It's a little harder. Now, with MU, we've known they've been a serial disappointer. NVIDIA's talking about they got, 100% of their inventory. They've got highest inventories they've had in years. The semiconductor index in a whole, check this out, though. And again, this is where I think people just, they see the price action and it changes their mind, which I get it. That's what the market's real good at, right? But this is where I try to beg people, zoom out. I have to say it. Look where we're at. We're at the massive chop zone. Is this a big old head and shoulders top? A monster head and shoulders top. Feels like it. Now look at the monthly. Or the week. Sorry, this is the weekly. Apologize. All right. Is that a trap? Is this going to be a left-right combo? Right? Big green, indecisive, smaller hammer, whatever you want to call it. Big red, follow. Right? Could it be? You did the same thing here at end of March 2022. You looked above, and then it was a gzbow. So, window dressing. This is the thing about window dressing versus window disparity, essentially. The market leaders are going to go higher into window dressing. The laggards are going to go lower. Now, what happens if the volatility increases and velocity of what has been up huge for the quarter? Think about it. Pretend you and I are money managers. We're running Dan Mack's private equity group. We own a ton of Meta. We've been lucky with NVIDIA. We have made a ton of money on tech. And we are going into the end of the quarter, and we want to show our clients how awesome we are. Are we going to hold completely? Or do we want to show them, look how well we've done? That's the question that becomes. Well, there's going to be a certain price point for which we will not be giving back our profits. Right, Banff? Right? So if we've made 10% for the quarter, just whatever, month, pick a number. Our threshold is not to go below X amount. That is the goal. Now, some of them will use option strategies. Again, we could really get more complicated, but in just general thinking, the typical money manager, right? All right, I probably need to take profits. Maybe not, but maybe not. Maybe they hold like the idiots. But do you think the market makers aren't unloading into this free liquidity? I would say with a resounding absolutely yes. Let's keep an eye on XLF. People, I talked about, oh man, why is this? Oh, that's right, my computer reset again. I am the worst about saving. I don't know about you guys, but like I draw on this, then I just don't even think about saving it. Check this out, right? Where is the monthly? Give me the monthly, if you're not familiar. Look at this. We are bouncing around to end the month. Do you think there's some like fisherman trying to like catch the bottom here, thinking the XLF is good? All is well. All is great. All is great and wonderful. Yeah. Okay. It's just chopping around, right? That's what it looks like it to me. Weekly, same thing. Here you go. Doji. Big break. Holding, chopping. It means very easy to reference why people would start buying. But do we think banks are out of the woods yet? No. I think if anything, it's going to get worse. But it doesn't necessarily mean it has to collapse today. That's what's so hard about this crap. That's why I was telling you, like, if you took your profits, because this is the thing. Some of us shorted fully up here. Some of us took some profit and reloaded fully here, and then we took profits down here. Now, we reloaded a little bit on the pops, but again, I mean, the easy money's out. I'm waiting for more of a pop to add more, or as I've told people, I think the easiest trade in the near term is shorting tech versus shorting financials. Not saying that financials won't drop, but again, risk reward here, right? Financials lead, financials lead, financials lead. Say this over and over and over and over again. Time-wise, you're just, again, timing. I wish I could tell you with some sort of magic crystal ball that, hey, you have to short by next Thursday or you miss the entries. It doesn't work like that, right? You can't predict the news. That's why there's an art to this, and that's why technicals aren't infallible, and that's why the market is a probability-based game. People are looking for certainty through technicals. People are looking through certainty through whatever RSI, MACD, whatever silly algorithm they're trying to build. And that's why I laugh too, because like a lot of people are trying to build their own algos, and it's like, okay, well, your algo is not. Your algo is like the sheep algo following the other algos to slaughter. When again, people don't realize this. I've seen people build their algorithm. I'm like, okay. I mean, maybe it works for like a week or a month, but it is not going to be able to adjust for everything as the market adjusts. Because right, it's chaos. It's organized chaos. The variables are always changing. You're only as good as your experience with risk management. That's all it is. I mean, it's the simplicity of it. Now, people don't like to hear that, but that's. I mean, again, I'm not here to sell anyone anything. I'm trying to educate people. So again, make your money, do well. Let's buy some real estate, pay yourself. This is the goal. Run this shit like a business. If you're trying to get rich quick, good luck. I mean, that's, again, just be careful. Because if you have to risk big to win big, well, guess what? You don't have a ton of bullets to fire. Play the odds. Play the odds. Any questions, thoughts, concerns? If not, I'll just rip through some of the tech names I'm watching. Good old Apple, the fruit. Trap bull zone. We're back in it. Come on. I'm sorry to have to draw on the spot, but as I said, didn't save from last night or whatever. Don't do that. Give me the... Yes, there we go. We're back in it. Not bullish. This looks like a trap to me. Remember this candle here? We said this is the Fed Day candle. When you start getting below the Fed Day candle, you got problems. Because that's the major inflection point. That's the last big Fed talk. Right? Good old Meta. Everybody buying up here. Is this a pro gap? We'll see. Again, idiots buying Meta. And again, that was me at one point. We're all idiots. You didn't buy it down here when we talked about, right? This is like the short-term upside target zone. Look at this. Hit it, chop, then went. Point being is what? At the lows, nobody wanted it. Remember, we were talking, kind of laughing, like, yeah, you could buy Meta. Traded it. Like, this was the irony. Like, everything, all the bad news was out. And it's like, oh, it's going to zero. It's like, well, it just kind of went from 60, 380, whatever it was. 390, was it? Can't remember. Whatever. 380s down to 90. Sorry, 80s. Now you want to short it. Okay, it's going to zero. Now up here, it's going to 250. Every day I get text messages. I get messages. Hey, dude, do you know this TikTok stuff? Meta is going to the moon, bro. Where are you? Where are you? Why are you shorting the moon? Well, of course, watch the 197 area. If it gets below that, game over. This is a trap. Oh, but I thought traps are only on the daily. No, you can have traps on the weekly and on the monthly, folks. They just take what? Time. Da-da-da-da-da. I feel like that's a Hootie and the Blowfish song. But look where we're at. Straight line move off of the long-term trend line back into resistance. Does it have to fail in one day? You would hope, right? That would be like the easiest trade. Like you just show up, clock in, pow, get paid. That would be the hope, right? Watch this area. Again, folks, don't zoom out. That's a problem. Netflix. Here we go. 50-day. Talked about it being a lagger, and then when it bounced, I'm like, watch this area. Again, keep an eye on it. UEC trying a small long. I would not buy any materials names. Again, Tim, you've just shown your ass, and not mean in a bad way, but just like you don't know the past. The problem is again, no one's going to say probably long term you're going to be wrong here, right? With UAC if you believe in uranium. The problem is that when the market flushes, they throw the baby out with the bathwater. So if you want to like hold and bury your head and not watch the market, when the VIX spikes up to 50, 60, 70, 80s, there's no rationality. That's why people don't, if you just showed you don't have the experience of a bear market flush out. Now again, could this rally on some sort of other geopolitical? That's the probability. It's 50-50. And again, long term, probably could just bury your head in the sand and come back. But if you are watching it and you're trying to maximize your returns as you trade, you can't convince me to buy materials here. You just can't. That is not what I want to do, because again, if the market is going to be irrational, dump everything, liquidate. Remember, think about why the market unloads everything. Think about the money managers, the institutions, the mutual funds, the pension funds, the foreign nationals that own American stocks, whatever. Lump them all together. When the redemptions come, when owners want to sell, when clients need to liquidate, is anything safe? If you don't know the answer to this question, then you haven't done your homework. Nothing is safe. Now again, someone's going to go, well, this rose when the market dumped, Dan. Okay. That's fine. Some things will rise. But do you want to fight probabilities? Do you want to fight the trend? Do you want to fight the current? Do you want to be swimming against the current? I say unto you, good luck. Again, I would not buy, and first of all, it's a fucking penny stock. God, excuse my language, but these stocks piss me off. Like, why would you buy cheap penny stocks? You're not going to get rich off of trash. You're not building wealth off of trash. Nobody in their right mind buys penny stocks for a reason. Only retail does. It's like Wolf of Wall Street. You just sell people on ideas when the companies clearly can't manage their own stock well. They just can't. You can't even manage your own company to keep it out of pennyland. I mean, it's like you have one job as management, and they can't even do it. Yeah, and that's the thing. Uranium could go to the sky, and this thing could just be a dud and go. Pfft. You got a bottle rocket that blows up in your hands. I'm just always amazed. People want to buy cheap crap and try to get rich off of it versus buy the better names that are holding up, that have lower liquidities. Again, they don't have 40 million shares to trade for, whatever that is. 40, holy crap. I can't even. Yeah, 40 million shares to trade. Okay, well, again, I mean, I'd rather buy the ETF, or I'd rather buy CCJ or some of these other uranium companies. You will not see me buying penny stocks. Because how many times have I bought a penny stock, a move goes, and the penny stock goes what? Nowhere. How many times has that happened to you? Raise your hand. Where, you thought you were buying this, and it did what? Oh, it was the cheapest, crappiest name. It's like the Livermore book. Again, if you haven't read it, he talks about the motor companies. And he was like, yeah, motors were all doing great. And then there's a few companies that just went nowhere. But then as soon as the market went down, they went down lower. It's the same thing with these uranium companies or these lagging penny crap stocks in the sectors that you and I like. If they can't go up when the market's been on a fire, why the fuck would I want to buy them now? Excuse my language. No. They probably have issues with funding. They probably have all sorts of issues within the company. Again, maybe management is living in a freaking suite in Vegas, hanging out at the Rhino Club or whatever, the White Rhino, whatever, Spearmint Rhino, whatever. Penny stocks are, again, you want to buy them, just play them like lottery tickets. They're going to zero, more than likely, or they're going to go nowhere. But here's the thing. If you want to spend that same type of capital, why don't you just buy leaps on stocks long term if something you really believe in versus some crappy penny stock? God, this whole thing is like, it's like a never-ending conversation. It's like, you're going to get rich on penny stocks. Okay. Good luck with that. So, anyway. Just a pump account to push Y2 junk info. Okay, cool. Someone's blocking me on stock tweets. I love reading all the junk because, again, it gives me confidence in what the market's going to do. At the lows, people are bearish. At the highs, they're all speculating in higher prices. That's what they do. That is what they do. So, any thoughts, questions, concerns? Again, not to rant on you about penny stocks. It's just the same conversation I've had about, 100,000 times with penny stocks. It's like, okay. You want to try to get rich going through the trash? Good luck. Good luck. That's all I can really say. That is all I can really say. So, yeah, I always love when people talk junk and just like want to laugh at it. Anyway, thoughts, questions, concerns? I apologize if that seems hurtful, but that's not my point. It's like scary how people love to trade. Now, again, if you want to trade it, fine. But owning them for the long term, I mean, there's a reason why, I don't know, stocks just are what they are. Let's look at the UAC long term. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's just monster basing pattern. I guess it IPO'd. At least it's above its IPO price. Yeah, it's a lotto trade. That's fine. JP Morgan quarterly option trade in Q2 next week. Yep. They've got they want to hold the market between 40.30 and 3600. That's their goal. That is the goal. Market's doing a little dance here, rising. Actual switch trades with SPX 3740. Yep. No, we're familiar with that one. That's one of the first things in my book, and it's kind of ironic. April Fools, like their collar comes off on the market on the last day of the quarter. April Fool's Monday. What happens from there? I don't know. That's the question, right? That is the question. Let's look at some of I'm just kind of gathering around the dollar, chopping around. Tough to know. right? Tough to know here. I think it should go higher, but I'm not trading it. Watching, zoom out. This is a monster trend. What now? I mean, you can see it even on the monthly. It's the upside of another trend. Holding around here. Now, again, this is why I always tell people, like, don't be surprised. Oh, but trend lines are infallible. No, they're not. No, they're not. But we're chopping around it. If you bounce below it and chop above it, now the key would be obviously what? Hold the area. Hold the line. So, yep. Wait to see their Q2 option prices. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll see again. I mean, if I'm trying to sell options, I would want the VIX higher. That's personally me if I'm JP Morgan and Chase. The VIX daily right here, right at the, I mean, I guess this is a trend line. Man, this didn't save anything. Crap. There's another trend line we're coming into. Potentially down here, and then you could draw one like this. Sorry, that's not. Yeah, like that. Are we breaking below it? Okay. Is this a trap? That's how I look at it. Because again, it's hard to know. But 20 area seems very, very cheap. Very, very cheap. All right. Any thoughts, questions, concerns? Just kind of rambling here to help folks out, see what best they can do. SMH, yeah, held at 246 area, not surprised. Meta trying to hold the 197 level, not surprised. Apple trying to stay above float into the trap bull zone. Nvidia made no sense what's going on, but here it is holding these recent highs. See what happens here. AM Dizzle blows out to 101. Ugh. And again, here you go. Check out the monthly. Is this the, where is, where's my friend Eric, the FU pattern on the monthly, right? You got like your knuckles. Here's your middle finger. Here's your pointer. Here's about to be your thumb. That's pointed out here. Here, do you need help drawing the FU pattern? Whatever, something like that. Yeah. And here's your thumb. Yeah, I love that FU pattern. It doesn't end well for people who are bullish. I mean, I think, what was it, AAOI? Wasn't that the one we were referencing earlier in the AAOI in the Discord room? I wonder if I still have it. No, damn it, I don't have it. Yeah, that's the big FU pattern. But, yeah, we'll see. I mean, IWM, people are like, oh, it's up today. Is it leading, Dan? You tell me. No, Dan. Is it leading? I'm like, zoom out, like Samuel L. Jackson. Zoom out, motherfucker. Yeah, here you go. Is it really leading? Q's up here. IWM down here. See the problem? Is there a problem? I think there's a problem. Tech. Everyone ran into tech for safety. Is there really anything safe in the market? I would argue gold is acting very safe. My dust calls that I have that are 0.001% of my total holding accounts are probably going to blow out. That's fine. People are like, well, aren't you going to buy or chase gold? I'm like, no, I've got precious metals. I've got physical. I'm always long. Always long gold. Always long silver. This action at the reference on the monthly, this is me. Wishful thinking. Could be wrong. We said this is a big cup and handle. You can see my long-term arrow. Zing, pow, way up there. Right? Actually, we should redraw it the other way now. So the bottom is definitely in, right? Oh, why are you doing? No, sorry. It's the other way. Because you can see the Fibonacci extensions up, right? Oh, we got to put in some better ones too. I'll just do this on the fly. Again, my default ones, for some reason, are not showing up. Let's add. Let's get rid of all these ones below. Let's call it the 2 times. 2.0. Where is all the... Oh, I don't want it that thick. Where is the 2.382? Okay. Oh, here it is. 2.618. 0.618 is already up there. Let's do the 2.382. And let's do a 2.5. just for, yeah, 2 times range. There it is. Figured it was something like that. So, yeah, not bearish long term on gold. But here's me and knowing how. Thanks, Siri. I appreciate it. I don't need you now. Here's my thinking. The longer you chop, remember we talked about chop, chop, chop before the drop or pop, chop, 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 the bigger the pop, right? Like, we can consolidate under here. And if they throw the baby out with the bathwater and gold pulls back, I think there will be, and again, the best time to buy gold is when what? The Feds go full pivot. Not this, well, maybe they're going to raise, maybe they're going to pause, maybe they're going to raise, maybe they're going to pause. It could be wrong. It could be wrong. Again, probabilities say you can't always be right. But that's, to me, when you get the absolute rip in gold. Could be wrong. Could absolutely be wrong. But do I want to buy the miners? No, I don't. I don't. Because what's happened? Do you remember what happened with previous market? Here again, remember the 2 biggest VIX spikes were recently COVID in 2008. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Then you remember, they did bottom before March 2009. We get that. But we'll see. We're in the show me the money zone. Okay? Could we get tired here? That's kind of what I'm anticipating. Could be wrong here. But we go, look at gold miners to the premium to the market, to the middles. And I'm like, well, look at silver. Silver still sucks. I'm sorry to say that. I love silver long term. Not going to say anything differently about my good friend Los Silver. But it's not anywhere close. It's not anywhere close. Reversion to the mean at some point. Yes, I will take some of that for 500, Alex. The answer to the question is reversion to the mean for 500. Yes, but look what happened. We filled the gap, hit the 0.618. Doink. Doink, doink, doink. Materials. This is what you're waiting for. Again, if you want UEC, okay, well, I wouldn't buy that one. All materials. Baby out with the bathwater. I've told folks, as soon as the Fed pivots, the market gets into the hyperbaric, I guess not hyperbaric, but just the endless dump zone. Here's my watch list. This is all I will be trading. Commodities, ag, here's uranium. Again, we got UECs. They have a good balance sheet. That's the one thing I'll give them credit for. But I'd like some of these other names. I think CCJ will do better. I guess you can buy Ura if you want to speculate. But here you go, oil and gas, lithium, solar, industrial specialty chemicals. This will be my watch list. It'll be the daily market commodity review. It's not going to be tech, that's for sure. I mean, yeah, Bob, I like dust here at 11. That's kind of where I was liking it the most, 13 to 11 range. But I don't sit here, and that's why I bought calls on it, because I'm like, I can limit my risk. If all of a sudden something happens that causes gold to rip and the miners to rip, I'd prefer to define my risk than to buy dust and then see it go 20, 30% down pretty quickly. If it's something, again, if something out of nowhere. And people are like, you sound like you're confused. And it's like, no, I'm just trying to tell you guys my thought process, probabilities. I don't sit here and promise certainty. Anyone who's promising you certainty in the market, run away. Because they're not being true. Nobody's always right. I mean, I don't have the link to it, but Jeffrey Gunlock, the king, bond king, and same thing, but they're talking about probabilities. Like, hey, if I can be right 8 out of 10 times, 9 out of 10 times, I'm a genius. Well, think about the market participants that you're talking about. People with millions of dollars, maybe billions, maybe not billions, but tens of hundreds of millions of dollars to do research. And they're telling you they can only win 80, 90% of the time, yet you have people on the internet acting like they never lose. That is scammy as hell. That's scammy as hell. So, tried dust the other day. It was going down as gold went down. Yeah, I mean, it's not an easy trade. Right? But here's the thing. I mean, again. Yeah, is there large decay on that? There's a little bit of decay. I mean, again, naturally, these ETFs, it used to be more decay when it was a 3 times leverage share. Now it's a deuce. right? I mean, sorry, I'm like, what? Hold on. We don't chart the dust. GDX. Look where you're at. Right? You're filling this gap. You're into this gap. Could you get up to 33? I mean, that's always got to be in the back of your mind. Right? You're into this chop zone again, right? Here's the volume at price nodes. Look at all this volume up here. Right? Yeah, like a baseball hitter. Again, you bat 300 plus, you go to the Hall of Fame. In trading, if you can bat 800 plus, you're going to go to the Hall of Fame. But everybody on FinTwit is supposedly perfect. That's the irony here. And that's where I'm always like, newer folks, I'm like, you were listening to literally the biggest scammers. But when you're newer to things, it's easy to get scammed, right? You don't know. Don't you want to believe that somebody out there has all the answers? That's what our brain wants to believe. Oh, I will follow Dan. He's never wrong. Well, Dan will tell you all the time that he is not always right. Typically, I am early to trades. I was having this conversation with a friend of a friend, and they were talking about trading, and they're like, man, I'm always early, and I get out. And I'm like, well, that's why I started learning how to layer into trades, because, you know, I'm right a third of the time, like instantly, and then I'm wrong, probably 10, 15%, and then the other time I'm just early. And there's chop, and there's retests, and there's all sorts of crap that happens. But it's like looking at the daily, right? We're sitting here looking at the daily going, all right, okay. And then it's like, hold on. Let me show you something. It's called the 10-minute chart. Oh, but no. The 10-minute is not the daily. No, it's all repeating patterns, folks. Could you not expect to see retests and chop on the 10-minute? Oh, look at that. Duh. I mean, that's what happens. It's no different. 10-minute, daily, weekly, now monthly. Hopefully you don't see that kind of chop, because that would be brutal. Absolutely brutal. So, anyway. Many people want to be somebody, especially in trading. Many are trolls. Again, I don't mind trolls. Again, I love hearing from them because they give me feedback, because they're usually the most bullish at the highs and the most bearish at the lows. And how many people remember buying in October, September time frame? And people are like, "You're crazy. You are nuts, man. You are crazy. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You know what you're talking about? The world's gonna end." I'm like, okay, well, again, I didn't see GDP going negative. I was like, and we're spending a ton on Ukraine, and everything seems pretty stable. Banks were holding up. Again, all this stuff wasn't that bad. Not banks holding up, but like holding ranges. I was like, doesn't seem that bad, folks. And then what happens? Bounces. Now at the highs, everything is great. False. D. Not the right answer, right? Or it's like everyone checks C on a multi-choice test. C is not the right answer here. It's more like see you later. Be careful. All right? Like how many times do you see the Qs at the highs and the XLF at the low? Well, to me, XLF looks like it's on a, as we've said, if you check the monthly, it's on the way station for the route south of the border. Here's the border, right? Here's the south of the border. If you fail 30s, adios, amigos. Get your tequila. Right? All right, well, time. Yeah. So, Tesla. I mean, I can run through all these. What is this? It's a lower high. Talked about the 20-day. You break the 20-day, game over. Here's your game over candle in red. It's kind of like the Fed day candle. It just took time. Time. But no, Dan. It's bullish. Okie dokie. You seen the news with our good friend Warren Buffettowski? Buying more. Dude, he's buying, I think he's got 23% of the company. He's just like, I will buy Occidental. All right. All I can really say about Buffett buying more oil and gas names is that if you were a green energy person, I don't think this is good news for you. Because if Buffett's buying oil and gas ain't going our way. That's all I can say to that. And again, I don't want to be political. I don't want to talk about fundamental. No, that's just the reality of it. Like, the guy's doing a ton of homework. He believes in oil and gas names, and he thinks oil and gas is going to be around. As much as people want to end oil and gas, The realization it's cheap and it's free. Not cheap and it's free. It's cheap and it's abundant. I apologize. There is tons of it. It is the second most prevalent liquid on the planet. Oil. It's everywhere. It just gets a little harder to find. But natural gas, the byproduct of a lot of that drilling, that's the thing, right? So it just is what it is. I mean, we've talked about oil. I don't want to sound political again, but look, do you want to see pure comedy? Do you want to see pure comedy? Here's the 2020 election. Who won? Green energy guys. All right. Oil does what? Went higher. Now people go, oh, Ukraine stuff. All right, Russia. Well, we're going to talk about it wasn't their choice to respond the ways they did. Put Russia in the U.S. has always had a foreign policy of what? Divide the superpowers against each other or align with us, right? Like, you don't ever want other major superpowers against us. Well, now they put China and Russia together. We'll see what happens. We talked about the mid-60s. Could I be wrong here and that's the bottom? We'll see. As oil rises, do you think the feds are going to be loving this if oil starts rising? No. A lot of confusion here. And again, someone would ask, would you rather short tech or long oil? Call me biased because I've seen a tech wreck. Now, again, I've said this. If you watch the Back to Basics, who wins the trade war or the tech war? It's not tech. It's obviously commodities. Hence, my future watch list is all commodities. Will I be late to the party? You know what? I probably will be. And it's like, well, do you remember stocks like this? Yeah, I traded U.S. Steel back in the day. And they're like, oh, it's been dead. And you're like, hold on, zoom out. This is what it did. Oh, it was okay if you were, a little late. So you do the math here. If this thing just, whatever. I mean, if to duplicate that run, probably not going to happen. But could it go up to 200s again? You don't know. Whether you start trading it at 35 or start trading it at 30, 25, it's going to 200. Are you really missing that much? Maybe not. Yeah, oil is popping again. This has got to put the feds in the pickle. And we talk about the CME Fed Watch tool. I'd be curious to know if this is as every dollar oil rises, does this correlate to a higher rate hike? Or is the economy softening, rates going lower, and the Fed pivot, and maybe oil's rising on that? I don't know, man. Again, things that people will use a ton of brain power to try to figure out. And it's well, just define your risk, manage your stops, trade around your positions, moveon.org. I've been playing this SPX ETF. Don't feel safe holding anything yet. I troll this to watch the gamblers mostly. Well, again, this channel is not meant for gamblers. But there are gamblers out there. I mean, I gamble here and there on little things, but I treat this like a business. My goal is to pay myself monthly, at worst, pull money out, buy real estate, buy assets that pay me, invest in, again, now this is what's so hard, I'd like to buy dividend-paying ETFs to generate income, but at this point, why would I buy an ETF that could potentially drop 20%? 30% if the market gets slammed? That doesn't really make sense. The dividend is not great enough to hold. The only gamble I had on was UNG. Yeah, and that, again, people, man, back at 7. Good Lord. Good Lord. Good Lord. This ETF burned. Burn. You get burned sometimes. That's part of trading. People just if you're wrong, I'm only going to be wrong a little. No, there's going to be times where you're wrong a lot. That's why if you got options, bet on it. Yep. Trading is a risk business just like insurance is. It's a bet. Yeah, I mean, everything's a bet. That's what people don't realize. There's no certainty. That's where anytime, again, I scroll through social media posts and people are going, 5 stocks you got to buy for the long run. 3 stocks that you need to buy right now. The market right now. And it's you guys are just selling yourself to the devil, selling your soul. Because again, the best time's going to buy the market. I will do 5 stocks to buy right now when the market is absolutely blood red and the VIX is like spiking, going nuts. I will not be doing it on days where the VIX is in the 20s in a bear market. I would. It's just like you can instantaneously know who doesn't know what they're talking about. Think about it, right? If you know somebody recommending buying stocks for the long run right now, the odds say that what? This is probably not the best time to buy stocks for the long run. That's all you can really say about it. Just the keep it simple, stupid. How low can stocks go? Or how long can you go? What do you mean? How low can you go? I mean, clearly you either have read the Livermore book or you haven't. And one of the things he talks about, and I've seen UNG, yeah. Who knows, man? That thing, I mean, look at this stock. I mean, the market can be way more irrational than you can stay solvent. Look at the UNG, man. I mean, it's like the UVXY. Just bleh. Is it time to reverse split again, this thing? It's not showing the splits on the monthly. When's the last time the UNG reverse split? Here was one. Why is that was a 4-for-1. So 20, yeah, around $5, $6-7. It's probably due. Now here's the thing. If you follow the channel, you know when we talk about reverse splits and ETFs like this, they usually do them at the lows. Just keep that in mind. They're usually at the lows. Or they come out with these ETFs at the highs. Keep that in mind. We talked about that too. Remember, multiple times I told you, like, look at, for example, pretty ironic, the SMH in itself, the QQQ, right? When did they come out? At the peak of the bubble, right? Like, that's usually the sector of, like, everybody jumping in on something. So what, again, there's not been many ETF releases at all in general, but that's the point. Like, got to be careful. They usually create these ETFs at massive inflection points because they know who's going to buy it, right? You need to sell product to retail when what is popular? That ETF sector, underlying sector, right? Now, again, sometimes it can be at the beginning of a move if it's think about the company. If it's JP Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, one of these major brokerages that you just can't trust, well, yeah, they'll probably be selling that ETF at the highs. There might be other, like, smaller company ETFs that probably are watching this channel or have the same mindset as going, I probably need to create a commodity ETF at some point only that I want to pick and choose the winners in it. Like watching paint dry today. Good Lord, SPX. Yeah, that's the thing about trying to predict the intraday move. That's why I tell people, have another job, have interest, go to the gym, eat healthy, cook meals, hang out with your kids. Do what you do to make life happy. If you're sitting around watching the market all day, that is a brutal way to live a life. As much as I want to predict every minute of the day, no, I just don't care. I have my alarms, I have my watch, my levels, like SMH. If we break the 20-day, that's probably going to blow out, right? 20-day has been pretty important. Now, the 50-day is right there, which is kind of scary. Because if they coalesce together and then it breaks through it, yeah, look out below. And obviously, you're going to need to watch the 234. Here's an old trend line that's just there. Watching paint, build a house. Man, is this... Who was building a house that was hitting me up? Is this Wild Warrior? You building a house? You still building your house, man? How's that going? Again, I don't know everyone's names and social media handles, but I do have a memory like an elephant, as a lot of y'all know. I do remember a lot of things. Hence why trading is memory-based for me. Like, a lot of stuff's like, oh, I remember that time, even if it's 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. It's important. It gets remembered. Now, as much drugs and alcohol from the past has deleted my childhood memories, I'm not too concerned about that. Yeah, great money as an owner and builder. Yeah, agree. Building. You're gonna need more of it. That's the problem here. I mean, where's the what was it? XHB, right? I haven't looked at this sector in a minute. Home builder sector. Major zone here, obviously, we're hanging out in. I mean, I think at a certain point when the market dumps, I think home builders are steal because, again, they haven't over leveraged. I don't think people understand the real estate market as like it's portrayed. Like, this isn't like 2008, where before that you had like the 20 plus million home run rate for 20 plus years. We've been building like 5-6 million a year, and now we have a shortage of homes. We have low inventories, people with anchor mortgages. Think about the people, and well, talking about the United States, who got the mortgage at 2.53%. Are you selling your house? Hell no, you're not. Hell no, you're not. So you're going to have supply just always in a shortage, essentially. And that feels very 1970s to early 1980s. What happened to home prices? Even as interest rates went up with shortages. Knock, knock. They doubled and tripled depending on what market you're in. So could houses do again? Because remember, they're gonna have to devalue the dollar. They're gonna have to monetize this debt. Anybody with hard assets. Why I'm like trying to like screen people: buy a house, buy your house, stop renting, buy investment properties that you find are good deals that you can cash flow. Save money. Save money and put into assets, stocks. Trade the bear market. But man, if you don't have precious metals. Now, again, I don't know who wins the crypto war. I don't want to pick sides here because I know the governments at some point are going to say to themselves, we want to win the crypto war. Well, I don't know who's going to be outlawed and who's going to be legal. Again, I don't want to get into that, but I'm hoping for the sake of God, the friends of mine who own Bitcoin, because again, crypto, I don't know. Friends of mine that have gotten rich off of crypto, I hope they stay rich. And so I hope that one works out. Because if anything ever goes wrong, I'm assuming gold, silver, crypto, those owners, I mean, hard assets. Again, this is the thing that's so hard about oil is there's a ton of it. So I don't know if oil is one of the better hedges. I think silver and gold are a little more limited and have industrial use. I know you burn oil, but again, like how much silver and gold is available on the planet? That's the question, right? When everyone wants to wear it around their neck. Diamonds on my neck. You know what I mean. So, all right. Any other thoughts, questions, concerns? If not, I'll wrap this up. I appreciate all of the support, love, friendship built from all this. I'll pull up here. Let me look. Taiwan Semi. This one is very, very interesting to me. Because we broke out of the channel. Right? We retested it. Now we're what? Lower lows, lower highs. Check the monthly out too. 20 month. What up, Mito? We wanted to buy a larger house. I told her no. We refinanced the 15-year to 1 and it makes 0 sense to sell our current home. I would try not to sell your current home. I agree with that. No doubt. 15-year at 1.75%. You're not going to get much lower than that. However, if you can find capital, and this is what I was like, if you've got a large amount of equity in your house, it might make sense to get a HELOC, take the money out, buy another property, use that as a down payment at the right time. Now, I know interest rates are going to be higher, but if you have a good lender, they're going to be able to explain to you, like, all right, well, do you need documentation for this? As an investor loan, you're doing particular loans, right? Or investor loans. Obviously, it's not going to be your primary mortgage. Or you could lie about it and say you're going to move there and not. I didn't say that, but people do that. Figure out a way to use that capital to invest in other properties. And again, the key is going to be what happens in the worst case scenarios, right? I always tell them, like, if you're buying investment properties and you're like, everything has to be perfect for me to float this, not good. Assume you might have a tenant issue at some point. Assume you might have a month or two of not rented. Buy a home warranty. I tell this all the time, like, I don't want to spend $500 or $600 for a blanket home warranty. And I'm like, well, if you buy this investment properties and the HVAC goes out, AC screwed, water damage, something. I know you have insurance. I know you say not water damage, but say it needs a new roof. Appliances go out, right? This home warranty is going to be there to cover it. Helps out. The finished another housewife in Philippines was too cheap. Not, yeah, I mean, again, I like real estate long term. You can't buy, they can't create more property. Now, here's the thing that I think is coming. I think you folks who've been in no real estate, multi-family units are on the growth because people can't afford, obviously, single family housing. So to me, single family housing obviously has more upside, but I think multifamily is going to have more demand. So it's going to be a nice little pocket of real estate for the next, in my opinion, 10 years. Because this is the thing about inflation, right? Once it entrenches, people always need places to live. You're always going to need a place to live. Well, if the prices on the houses aren't going higher, what happens usually goes higher? The rents then. People are renting, like the rent. So it's kind of one of those things. Yeah, that sounds interesting. Again, I don't know the Philippines market, but 170 square meters. What is 170 square meters in feet, right? 170 times 3. 40. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the conversions metric to square feet. Call me a stupid American. But $35,000 for 2-story anything probably seems cheap. So I can do that math. Is it times 9? Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's almost, 1,700 square feet, right? 9 times 30, 20, 1,730, right? Square feet, 2-story, yeah, $35K. Sounds pretty cheap to me. Just running the math here off my head, right? 170 times 9. No drawing. You'll hear me writing. Here's my pen. Oh, 1,500? No. Now I'm gonna need a calculator. Let's bust that out, just for fun. It's 1,530. Okay, yeah, you're an idiot, Dan. I thought it was 17, but I guess 30 times. Yeah. Any questions, thoughts, concerns? It's about square meters. Usually I'm good with the math there. Did not do it quickly. Getting old. Let me sip on some coffee. Any other thoughts, questions, concerns? I'll let it roll. I'll end it because most people will watch this in an hour. They feel like they stick around. I want to be able to answer any legitimate questions. But Tim, appreciate your chatting. Again, I mean, these chats are only as good as the questions asked. I mean, I could rant on stuff, but I think it's not always pertinent to what's going on. I'd rather answer questions that are relatable. Again, even the penny stock one, I've had that rant 1,000 times, and I'll probably do it another 1,000 times. Again, if you want to speculate, you want to buy a few thousand shares for nothing, like you got a couple grand that you just want to put speculative, fine. But have in your mind, the back of your mind, it's probably going to lag. Everyone thinks penny stocks are the ones that get bought out. No, it's usually the companies that are good companies that get bought out, right? Like they have good stock structures, right? They have low debt. Now, UEC, I think, has a decent amount of cash on the balance sheet. But here's the thing, again, with even my favorite, again, I love ag names because people need to eat. They even struggle when the markets get slammed at times. Roblox, what's up with it? 20-day alert. Resistance zone. Keep an eye on it. Lower highs. Again, I like Roblox for the long term on a pullback. If I was going to buy any tech, it would probably be Roblox. That'd be the only one. Maybe I'm a naive adult because I don't know all the kid stuff, but they're not a penny stock yet, in my opinion. Tesla, oh God, low of the day. Did I miss something? Tech is still $1 off the highs. Here you go. Here, keep an eye on this. Again, if you're watching, did I just burp? Yep. Watch SMH, obviously. At 246s, 20-day, going to be importante. Because once the 20-day breaks and holds, whatever, it typically can go larger move. Is this a little baby gap? Baby pro gap? I don't know. I don't shop at the baby gap, so I don't know. QQQ. Check this out. Notice how we're below the Fed day lows. Fed day lows, keep an eye on it. 305s. SPY, same kind of thing, right? Oh, you're welcome, Tim. Thanks for the questions. Now, I know we're not anywhere near it, but look at this where, I was making a joke like this is like fiber optics. You got the 50-day, 100-day, the 200-day, 20-day, 8-day. They're all here. Watch what happens. I know, man, you can't even see the doji today. It's so tight within all this color. Keep an eye, because it could continue down. Is this gap a little baby island? Again, you have like a gap up trap, another gap up trap. Is it going lower? It seems very logical in time, right? The VIX, what did we say again? Gift down in the 20s. Watch the TLT. I've been screaming it for what seems like, 2 or 3 weeks. Watch the ranges, right? I mean, as much as people want to talk about bonds, I'm like, to me, they're not really saying much. Until you get below here, the 104s, which we're at, holding or folding, or over 109s. If not, it's just chopping around. That's, to me, worth watching. As we've said, Apple, if this gets back into the trapped bull zone and continues, then that's a bull trap. Check, again, the monthly. I hope this helps. Again, zoom out, have some plans. I have my journal. My mouse is on top of my journal right now. Watch this area. Is it going to sustain over this? I don't think so, Tim. And I'm referencing Tim Allen, the whole, whatever that show was. All right, any other last thoughts, questions, concern? Again, watch the XLF chopping around. I mean, if it's not strong, it's not long. I mean, it's probably not going higher. Chopping out. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate the donations. Again, I like talking about it because I think, again, a lot of people understand they're getting a free education. I don't expect anybody to pay me anything for this because, again, you've got to figure out how to make money in this. Most people fail. 95% of people fail. I don't expect tips, donation, anything. But if you are doing well and you are getting educated and you see the value of your tuition in the thousands, which it's well worth, again, because you can't teach experience. You can't teach any of this stuff. You can't learn it without gaining this knowledge. I appreciate it. It means a lot to me because, again, I'm trying to build the systems. I'm going to probably build up the website, Trading Agent, a little more to make it more easy for folks who are learning. Because, again, it's just me doing this stuff. And the more that people want to be involved, the more then, obviously, I will produce the content as needed. If not, I could sit here and just teach the 20 or... Man, it doesn't seem like... I guess the Discord room has, 80-something people? And about 20 of them are the only ones who really post. Those are the 20 that seem to be doing the best. The ones who are involved. Because, again, worst case scenario, I'll just joke you for asking the same question 100 times. Or give you a timeout and go, come on, if you don't know the answer now, you need to go look it up yourself. Again, nothing ever personal. I've said this to many people and many people who've been around. If you don't get timed out, kicked out, you probably are not trying hard enough. Because usually somebody's going to be really damn annoying trying to figure out the answer to something. And it's like, dude, it's time for you to figure it out on your own if you keep asking. Because this is the hardest thing. Is like you're going to find that, and I'll end it here, you have to be willing to unturn every rock of your personality, the issues that you have in trading, anything. Because ultimately, within inside of you, how you are handling the market is just the interpretation of the market. Oh, someone just left the server. Bonk. Oh, too bad. It's funny how people in and out. And that's the realization. You have to look at the market and go, it is always subject to my interpretation. Am I doing what the market is doing? Am I putting in my processes probabilities of what? Again, you're not going to pick tops with high, certainty, exact prices, like exact price. Sorry, you can pick the top within. Like again, we picked the bottom down here, and then look what it did. It went higher. You're not going to be able to predict with certainty anything. So how you trade around your positions, how you manage your emotions, and are you doing what the market's doing? I literally have it right on my front desk, and the question is, Dan, it doesn't say Dan, are you trading well? Are you trading well, to me, means, are you doing the best you can with the knowledge you have, the insights you have, and under the current circumstances, doing the best you can? Because, again, it's going to be tricky, right? Like, I know a ton of people are like, the market's got to dump now. Look at financials. And I'm like, dude, it just went oversold near term, VIX 29, which isn't that crazy, but let it breathe. If it has to breathe, it has to breathe. Now, again, if you only have bought March options, you got screwed. We talk about if you're playing options, at least have April, maybe May. Obviously, May is now if you're playing that bigger move. But I hope this helps. Again, you are battling the market. No one hits enter and exit but you. You have to be able to figure out how to interpret the market and then act on it and then be decisive. Think about this as war. I'll end on this. This is war. Those who are prepared for war, those who understand they can get killed for doing stupid things, those who have humility to the surroundings around them, are the ones who have the understanding of what I need to do. I need to be prepared, and they don't freak out no matter what. When the bullets start flying, aka the market starts open, and the prices start moving, they are not dictating their emotions based on the price. They have their plan. They're a general leading an army of soldiers, and again, they are adjusting to the evidence, but they're not changing their plan because the war just started. You need to have evidence. So I hope this helps. I'll talk to you guys and gals later. Peace out.